Okay, this is the book Prevent and Reverse Hypertension by me, Pete Rogers. It's available at Amazon.com if anybody's interested. We're following along at figure 243, atherosclerosis plaque. It's partially reversible, because that's what people ask all the time. Can you reverse atherosclerosis plaque? And the answer is yes, you can. You can reverse it, and not completely. You can reabsorb the acute clot, the acute thrombus. You can reabsorb the lipid core. You can reabsorb, that's the fat material. You can reabsorb the necrotic core, that's the dead material inside of macrophages. The cellular part of the fibrous tissue, scar tissue, you might reabsorb a little bit of that, not much. The acellular part, not at all. I don't think you can reabsorb the calcification, but some people claim that there is a paper out that now you can reabsorb some of the calcification. I haven't ever seen it in my clinical work. I've seen many thousands of these. So who knows on that? I don't think so. Once you start eating a healthier diet, low-fat vegan diet, the endothelial cells, the arterial lining cells, will start producing more nitric oxide, vasodilators. So you'll also get some increased arterial diameter because of that. Because an artery is not normally, when it's healthy, a fixed pipe, but it also has an ability to dilate a little bit in response to, demand for flow in the adjacent tissue. So anyways, that's the good news. Low-fat, low-sodium vegan diet has been shown, low-fat diet, vegan diet, to reverse coronary heart disease. The best study on that is Caldwell-Esselstyn, okay? And Dean Ornish did some related work, and others have done related work, Pritikin, Kempner, McDougall, etc. Okay, and I got much more detailed lectures on my YouTube channel if you want to watch those. For the book, I'm mostly just going over the pictures. Here's some illustrations from the work of Walter Kempner. Walter Kempner was amazing. I mean, like I said, his book is available free. If you go to drmcdougall.com website, you just type in, Walter Kempner, and you'll see the book for free. The first one, there's a version 1, I'm sorry, there's volume 1, that's in German, you can't read it probably, and volume 2 in English, and then you can read that one if you want. It's rather amazing. There's nothing like it. Anybody who's serious about nutrition, I recommend you read it. Because once you've sort of seen what Kempner was able to accomplish, and you see what Dennis Burkitt did, what Nathan Pritikin did, then you're like, holy crap, this is where it's at. Okay, this low-fat vegan diet. You'll be convinced for life. That's one of the reasons why I don't, get caught up in the wind of whatever new nonsense comes along, because I've read all that stuff, and it's like, what more do you want? You cured all the Western diseases. What more do you want? Okay, so he was reversing diabetic retinopathy, hypertensive retinopathy, coronary artery disease, getting EKGs to revert to normal, congestive heart failure, getting hearts to shrink back to normal, blood pressures to come down from the mid-200s down to normal quite often. Not always. He couldn't save all the patients, but he saved a very high percentage of them. He had a lot of kidney failure patients that lived much longer than expected, etc. Okay, and then here is Lazarus as Johnson came back to life. So this is the resurrection of the Johnson of Lazarus. And this is Jesus at the tomb of Lazarus' cave. Take away the stone, Jesus said. And his sister Martha said, Lord, by now he stinks. And the Lord said, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes. Okay. All right, so anyways, and Jesus called out in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. Then the man who had been dead came out with his hands and feet bound. Okay, and I also had one where I had a prayer, the impotence prayer. Okay, where I don't have that right now. I'm not going to go into it. Okay, here's another picture right here, the Yerkes-Dodson curve of stress versus performance. A little bit of stress motivates you, that you're enthusiastic to try to achieve something, to work out and lift a heavier weight, or whatever it is. You're in the peak performance focus zone where you're energized, and that's called eustress. Too much stress, and that'll impair performance. If you got to have a little bit of stress, you'd be lazy, bored, inattentive. Yerkes-Dodson curve of stress versus performance. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about exercise. So this is the life cycle of the sea squirt. During its juvenile phase, it's like a tadpole. It swims around and has a brain. In its adult phase, it attaches to a rock, becomes a filter feeder, and its brain is completely recycled, because you don't need a brain if you're just going to sit around the couch with the remote, all right? And it's like Voltaire asked the question, why do animals have brains but plants do not? And the answer is because animals move. As soon as you move, you have to make a value judgment, pick a destination. I shall walk towards the fruit tree, get something to eat. I shall avoid that path over there because there's dangerous predator coyotes over there. You have to be able to navigate to get there, avoid obstacles in your path, have a memory to get back where you came from. Okay, so a lot of things are happening. And what's the purpose of a brain? To walk down a path in a forest, a jungle, or a prairie and to survive. Okay, so the brain is hardwired to deal with reality. Okay, and in general, we got the left, right, sort of the logical, detailed brain. And then we got the right brain, more abstract and thoughtful. And it's sort of and this has also been called the predator brain, the left brain, to focus on a detail. I will pick this pear from the tree so I can eat it. I'm hungry. Whereas the right brain's more like the cautious, the prey brain, looking out for predators, for danger, peripheral vision, being aware of what's going on. Anyways, good to exercise. There's all kinds of good things for you. Exercise, it makes you better looking. It tones your muscles. You get some sunshine. It causes the release of BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic growth factor. It grows your neurons, forms new synapses, makes you smarter. In general, movement and thinking go hand in hand because our animal ancestors, if we're truly related to them from an evolutionary, biological, Darwinian sense, but still, motion and thinking go together. You have to, like I just said, plan your destination, make value judgments, etc. Interact with other people. All of that activates the brain, so you get neurogenesis. You get new blood vessels grow to the active areas of the brain to enable it to be perfused better to handle higher levels of activity. That's angiogenesis, therapeutic, beneficial angiogenesis. Those neurons that are repeatedly used will store more glycogen to give them more energy, more capacity for prolonged, rapid action. Okay, they'll get more myelinated, more insulation, sort of a myelin coating, like the plastic around an electrical wire, so they can fire impulses more quickly. So exercise does all that. Makes you toned, makes you better looking, gets your immune system traveling around the body because the lymphatic system is parallel to the arteries and veins, but it's not connected to the heart. It moves by muscle, 10 to 30 times increased flow. So that helps you get rid of cancer cells in your body, helps you get rid of infections, just helps you to be healthier, clears up cellular debris. Your brain cleans itself at night while you're asleep because it can go offline. The perivascular space of Burkow Rubin opens up. Cerebral spinal fluid rinses through there over the neurons. The neurons throw their waste products out like Victorian England, dumping the chamber pots out into the street. The rain rinses it away. So you wake up in the morning and your neurons are fresh and ready to go. All their waste products have been cleared out. That's why you're smartest in the morning, and you should do your challenging intellectual work first. That's why I don't like to eat breakfast, even on my day off. I don't eat breakfast. I want to sit down and start working on what intellectual project I got to do. Make a video, prepare for a lecture, write a book, whatever it might be, that's the time to do it. And then, in the afternoon is a good time to exercise. In the evening, eat a big meal, make the two-bag beast, go to sleep. Okay, that's a good day. Okay, it improves insulin sensitivity, lowers your risk of diabetes. The being tired, that enables you to sleep more, generates a sleep drive. It's all good. You live longer. So it also kind of keeps you in the maintenance pathway to restore your ATP, runs a cellular AMPK pathway, maintenance, restoration of ATP and other cellular components, rather than the fat and lazy pathway. You get overactivation of mTOR, which will increase your cell proliferation rate and cancer risk. So exercise is really good. It's good to exercise a moderate amount and to try to do it every day. If you're weightlifting, of course, you got to take a break. Let the muscles heal. This is just a more detailed summary of the same thing. You want to spend more time in maintenance phase, less in the mTOR activation phase as you hit middle age and older. Okay. And the Spartan vegan diet, you heard me talk about this many times. It's basically a low-fat vegan diet with no oil, everything organic, whole foods only, because the whole foods have intact cells, which means they're going to have intact lots of potassium, lots of magnesium. That's the good stuff. Whereas processed food is loaded with sodium, and they've squished the cells, which pushes out and rinsed it with solvents and water, which rinses away the potassium and magnesium. That's the good stuff that you want. Okay, Spartan vegan comes out of my background. I was a wrestler in college and whatnot, and it's Spartan. It's simple. Anybody could do it. It's also cheap. Starches are cheap. Okay, fruits are more expensive. Dr. McDougall would recommend people eat 90% of their calories from starches. That's sort of the foundation of the Spartan vegan diet, which is really very much like the McDougall diet. There's only minor nuanced little changes between the two. I include at the bottom of the base here, maintain your social relationships to the people that are important in your life, exercise and, for energy, aerobic, and also a bit for strength. Get your sunshine for all the good things that brings. Get your sleep. Practice one of the major religions. Everybody who practices the major religions are healthier. Have a strong sense of purpose in your life because that makes you more resilient, more strong, more energetic. You got to take care of your body. You got to do the maintenance too. Take care of your teeth, You don't want mercury fillings. You don't want root canals. All that stuff is bad and causes you problems down the road. Let's see what else. Starches are the main source of your calories. Like McDougall said, 90% of calories. I would say, I eat about 60% and about 35% fruits, but, I exercise a lot, so I can kind of get away with it. As people get older, they tend to not exercise as much as they should, and so they might be prone to getting fat if they're eating more of these really, really sweet fruits. They can also cause rebound hypoglycemia. Can even potentially cause cavities, the super sweet ones. Better to eat the real whole food than, if it's made into a juice, they've removed the fiber and stuff, and then it can hurt your teeth, rot your teeth. And get some vegetables. There's other unique nutrients there. The only thing you'll need to take is vitamin B12. Methylcobalamin is the best form of that. Don't take cyanocobalamin. I don't want to accumulate anything with the word cyano in it, as in cyanide. That's bad. Okay, if you're trying to lose weight, eat a higher percent of your calories from veggies. Up to 50%, not more than 50%. You'll drive yourself crazy. That'll make you sick, but you can go up to about 50%. And that's like the most important thing I ever learned in all my years of being a doctor. I've been a doctor over 30 years. Is that people should eat a starch-based diet, and they avoid all the chronic Western diseases, almost all of them. I got lots of videos, of course. I got a whole playlist of videos on hypertension on my YouTube channel. There's great videos at VegSource, Dr. McDougall's YouTube channel, Be Green with Amy, plantbaseddiet.org has good videos. And there's lots of other good YouTube channels out there that have good videos. Some of the other ones, though, have a lot of sponsored material. And, once you get experience, you can avoid that. But, you go to some of the other sites, and they're going to have all this sponsored content. And I think for experienced people, they can sort out what's true and what's not. But I think for people who are new to studying nutrition, it's very confusing for them to go to one of these channels where they'll hear a lot of good information, but they'll hear a lot of confusing stuff too that's, promoting stuff and selling stuff. So that's why I'll sort of recommend some of the channels to you. But I'm well aware there's other excellent nutrition expert doctors who are very knowledgeable at other channels. Here's a nice painting, Filial Piety by Jean-Baptiste Greuze, 1763, showing this poor old guy, spinal cord injury. He'd be dead if his family wasn't taking care of him. So they help each other. Humans are a social animal, like Aristotle had said, and we keep each other alive by helping each other. So you want to maintain your own social support and also help other people. Aristotle had said the family is made by, gives us what mankind needs to be happy. Another gift from God, the unmoved mover. Here's Lazarus raised from the dead, painting by Jean Jouvenet. France had a lot of great artists, okay? This is from 1700, 1706, okay? And here is a great Italian artist, Arturo Ricci, the christening, baptism, the naming of the godparents, the family celebration. So religion, relegare, to ligate, to bring up people together. It creates, meaningful holidays and adds to the meaning and enjoyment and happiness in life. So I'm just showing you a couple pictures like as part of being happy and stress reduction. So I'm ending up the book today. Here's a magnificent painting. This one's called The First Communion by Luis Alvarez Catala, 1900, public domain. The family that prays together stays together. Another one of these, traditional Catholic rituals that bring everyone together. The baptism of the baby, the First Communion, and it's rather beautiful and elegant. And look how magnificent the church is. Catholics, they're like the best at everything. Okay, let's see what else. Here's a nice painting, Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte by George Seurat, 1886. Nice day, getting one sunshine, that helps you to stay healthy. The book's almost done. I think I got a couple more, I think, maybe here. What do I got? Oh, here's the family going to church together, that prays together, stays together. After Church by Yanis Rosenthals, 1894. And isn't that a nice painting there? That reminds me of Poland. That's very much like the Polish costume there. It's rather beautiful. A lot of beautiful Polish women, as I know all too well. And this is just saying everything good comes from plants. Everything bad comes from animal foods and processed food. All this sad fat, all the Western diseases are from processed foods and meat. And then you avoid it. The only thing you supplement you need, like I said, is methylcobalamin. Okay, and I think I'm about winding down the book. Oh, and then at the end of the book, I just make a couple of jokes about the author. Okay, but I think I will spare you that part. You don't need to see that. Anyways, I hope you found this series of excerpts from the book Prevent and Reverse Hypertension helpful. Hope that's helpful to you.